You're driving home. It's late, but not too late. Maybe you had a long day. Maybe you're just ready to get back. And then you see it in the rearview mirror, the lights. Your stomach drops. Instantly, your heart rate jumps. And before the officer even reaches your window, you've already started talking to yourself in your head. Was I speeding? Did I miss a sign? What do I say? And that internal panic, that feeling right there, is what sets you up to make one specific mistake that can turn a simple traffic stop into something you never expected. Most drivers don't realize they've already said too much, not in the middle of the conversation, but within the first 15 seconds of it. They hand over their power before they even know the game has started. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what that mistake is, why it's so dangerous, and the precise words you can use to stay in control. A lawyer breaks this down in a way that changes how you see every single interaction. It's not about being combative. It's not about being difficult. It's about understanding that a traffic stop isn't just a traffic stop. The moment those lights go on, it's an investigation. And you, in the driver's seat, are the subject of it. The officer isn't just pulling you over for a broken taillight. They're watching everything: how you pull over, how you move your hands, what they see in the car, and most importantly, what you say. Here's the problem. Most people think the stop begins with the question, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" It doesn't. It begins the second you roll down your window. Let me paint a picture for you. This is the wrong scenario. You're flustered. You're already fumbling for your license and registration before the officer even steps out of the patrol car. Your hands are shaking. The window comes down, and before the officer can even finish their opening line, you blurt out, "I'm so sorry, I was just checking a text for a second," or "I know I was going a little fast. I'm late for this thing." You don't even know if they were pulling you over for speed. You just admitted to distracted driving. You just handed them a confession. The officer's tone shifts slightly. They ask you where you're coming from. "Oh, I'm just coming from a friend's place. We had a couple drinks. Nothing crazy. I'm fine, though." You see the problem? You're talking. You're filling the silence with things that feel helpful, polite, cooperative, but in that moment, you're not being cooperative. You're building their case for them, one nervous sentence at a time, and the officer, standing there calmly, is just listening. Every word you say is now part of the record. This is where it goes wrong. The nervous energy pushes you to over-explain, and over-explaining is a silent trap. Now rewind. Same situation, same lights, same drop in your stomach, but this time the right scenario. You pull over safely, calmly. You turn off the engine. If it's dark, you turn on your interior light. You place your hands on the steering wheel at 10 and 2, and you take a breath. You're not reaching for anything yet. You're waiting. The officer approaches, and instead of a wall of nervous rambling, they're met with a person who is composed, present, and not offering up information that wasn't asked for. The officer says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" This is the pivot point. Pay attention to this part. Your response is not a confession, and it's not an argument. You look at them and you say, calmly, "I don't, officer. Why?" That's it. Not, "I don't know." That can be heard as evasive. A simple, respectful, "I don't, officer. Why?" You're not admitting to anything. You're not guessing. You're asking a question in response to a question, which is perfectly legal and deeply smart. The officer tells you, maybe you were going a little fast. You don't argue. You don't agree. You just listen. "I see." That's all you need to say. From there, the next question is almost always a version of, "Where are you coming from?" or "Where are you headed?" This seems friendly. This seems like small talk. But remember, this is still the investigation. The officer is looking for inconsistencies, slurred speech, the smell of alcohol, nervous, contradictory stories. Again, you keep it simple. You tell them the truth, but you don't give a narrative. Coming from work, headed home. Not a story about your boss, not a timeline of your entire evening, not a casual mention of that one glass of wine at dinner. Short, factual, and calm. This isn't about being rude. It's about understanding that your words have weight. That one decision to not over-explain changes everything. This goes back to that feeling in the first few seconds, that panic. It's designed to make you feel like you have to prove your innocence right there on the side of the road. But here's what most people don't understand. The side of the road is an evidence collection zone. It's not a courtroom. You will not talk your way out of a ticket by apologizing profusely. You will, however, talk yourself into a search. You'll talk yourself into a field sobriety test you could have politely declined. You'll give them probable cause where it didn't exist before. The phrase to remember, the one you lock into your brain from this, is simple. Silence is your shield. Words are your waiver. Now, if this is helping you see this in a new way, if it's giving you that feeling of, "I never thought about it like that," consider subscribing. We break down high-stakes, real-world moments into simple, actionable knowledge every single week without the fluff. Let's go deeper, because there's a specific conversational trap that takes this from a traffic stop to something much more serious. The officer has given you the ticket or the warning, and you think it's over. The tension in your shoulders starts to release, and that's when they hit you with the casual pivot. "You don't mind if I take a quick look in your car, do you? Just to make sure there's nothing dangerous in there." This is the moment. They ask it so casually, with the same tone as asking about the weather. And the natural human instinct is to say, "Sure, go ahead," because if you hesitate, you look guilty. If you say no, you look difficult. Right? But that's the illusion. That one mistake we mentioned at the beginning, the over-explaining, has a dangerous cousin, over-consenting. Here's the truth. If they had probable cause to search your car, they wouldn't be asking. They'd be ordering you out of the vehicle. The question is not a formality. It's a test. And your answer is one of the most powerful lines you can have in your memory. You stay calm. You stay respectful. You look them in the eye and you say clearly and without apology, "Officer, I don't consent to any searches." That's it. You're not saying you have something to hide. You're stating a constitutional right. The words feel unnatural at first because we're socially conditioned to comply, to be liked, to avoid conflict. But on the side of the road, you're not in a social setting. You're in a legal one. Your exact phrase, delivered calmly, acts as a legal barrier. If they search anyway and find something, a good lawyer has a fighting chance. If you say yes, you've voluntarily given that chance away. You've let a 2-minute stop become a life-altering event. That one sentence, "I don't consent to any searches," can be the wall between a warning and a courtroom. Let's shift perspectives again because the most overlooked moment happens when the officer asks you to step out of the car. Most people panic. They think getting out means they're about to be arrested. That's not necessarily true. An officer can order you out of the car during a lawful stop for officer safety. It's legal. But what you do next is the subtle art that changes the dynamic. You exit, and you close and lock your door behind you. Just casually, you hit the lock button as you close the door. Why? Because once you're out, the interior of your car is no longer in your immediate control. If they ask to search again, a locked car is a physical, silent reinforcement of your lack of consent. They can't just pop the door open. They'd have to ask you to unlock it, giving you another moment to calmly say, "Officer, I don't consent to any searches." It's not aggressive. It's just a physical boundary that matches your verbal one. This is the kind of layered, real-world logic that puts you back in control without saying a single combative word. So we've moved through that emotional progression. From the uncertainty and fear of the flashing lights to the realization that every word is a choice, to the control of knowing exactly what to say, and finally to the confidence of that calm, quiet power. The framework is brutally simple. The stop is an investigation. Your shield is polite, short answers. "I don't, officer. Why?" for the opening. Factual, short statements for the casual questions. And the memory weapon. "I don't consent to any searches." You don't need to be a lawyer to protect yourself. You just need to know what works. One final thought to carry with you. The police have a job to do. This isn't about villainizing them. It's about understanding that their job is fundamentally different from your interest. Their job is to investigate. Your interest is to preserve your rights. Those two things can coexist respectfully. The moment you try to be helpful by overtalking, you blur that line. You do their job for them. The best thing you can say in a traffic stop, the most powerful tool you have, is often nothing at all, until you say the right thing. Now that you understand this, how does it change the way you'd handle those first 5 seconds?